Welcome back to Builders of Egypt. After a first demo a few years ago already, it only had 2 missions, but it was working fine. There wasn't a lot of bugs. A lot of people were excited. It was a city builder going back a bit to the roots, similar to the impression games like Seether 3. At that time, we didn't have the news of Pharaoh, A New Era, for example, so a lot of people were excited. Unfortunately, 1 year later, there was another demo with more missions but tons of bugs. The game was completely unplayable. So now, this is an important milestone. The team has grown from basically a one-man team to more. They're using external QA, so hopefully we have a lot less bugs and we can see where the game has gone to. In this version, we actually have access to 5 missions that go from the first tutorial to a bit more of a sandbox mission where you're not told anything, you have access to a lot more buildings, and therefore let me show you snippets of all of those missions as well as my thoughts. So first of all, the question that's probably on everybody's mind, is it completely bugged like the last one? I would say no. There is definitely a few small bugs that I have observed so far, but it is playable. It's not perfect, but it is playable. For example, over here we are in the second mission, so it's still a bit of the tutorial, and I was asked to build a fire station. This is this building over here. Initially, I placed it over here, and it wasn't recognized. It was as if I didn't build it. So then I had to build a second one, and then it was recognized. Or similarly, at some point over here, I got a tutorial hint that was telling me that I should build shrines. And it's true that to get my house to the next level, I need access to a shrine. But the reality is, in this mission, second, we cannot build a shrine. So, that was another small bug. So far, I've played for like 5 or 6 hours to test it for you all, and I had only one fatal error crash. Last but not least, around these bugs, I'm not sure it is a bug or not, but pretty much in all of the missions, my house were blocked at level 1 because it was saying access to one type of food is necessary. And you can see this house, for example, has more than 100 of wheat, more than 500 of chickpeas. I have food across all of my city, but they are not getting upgraded. I don't know why. I don't think it's also the desirability, because you can see that I've put over here, statues, some gardens, some trees. So we have good desirability, I think. But yeah, this seems to be bugged somehow. Now, on the other hand, there's again a lot of great things. We had a lot of great things in the initial game, and they're still here. For example, one thing I loved at the beginning was how huge the maps were. You can see over here, we're still in the map. This is still the map. This is the end of the map over here. There's a lot of space over there too. I built a small city in this corner, for example. So you can build multiple cities, multiple neighborhoods. There is definitely different also terrain, right? We have mountains, we have desert, we have forest, we have the Nile. So the maps are huge. So with maps as huge as this, as long as we have good optimization, it could be amazing. For 2023, the graphics are not perfect, but they do look quite good. You have definitely very different buildings. Your houses change as soon as you upgrade them. One thing I don't like is how all of those people do seem like exactly the same, and also seem like, what are you doing? Either you're working somewhere, or maybe it's you're enjoying, the time when it's night. But right now I feel like it's a lot of random people that look pretty similar. Similar to most games of this gender, we're also going to have, huge buildings, monuments like this mastaba that is being constructed in multiple phases, and the visual is changing slowly but surely. So that's really great. They've also started to include some interesting mechanics. For example, when you trade with other cities, the more you trade with the specific cities for a specific good, the higher your relationship with that city is going to increase. And with that, I'm guessing, this will help with diplomacy, maybe with war, but also with the pricing of what you buy and sell. Now, another thing that I've appreciated is how much the tutorials, the first few missions, have been improved. Instead of just telling you need to absolutely put this building there, this building there, this building there, which most of the time doesn't actually teach you anything. They're trying to explain what is happening, trying to show you some hints, trying to show you, this is in this area that I need to build a couple of first building. And then when I'm done, they're going to show me another area, for example, this area over here, and tell me a couple of other buildings to build. Another thing I want to mention is the balance. The balance used to be terrible, right? It was pretty much impossible to make any money. Now, in most of the mission, I've been able to get to a level where, you're making enough money. It's not to say it's easy. I think it's still rather quite hard, but I don't think it's because of the actual numbers behind the scene of the balance. I think it's more about missing graphs and UI, which led me to the last thing, which I do think there's still quite a bit of work that needs to be done around the UI. it takes too many clicks to do something like exporting resources. It's very hard to see, how much more food do I need to produce to really support my whole population. There is a great concept that your workers are local, meaning, the workers, the people that live over here, they can only work inside this red circle. If I put, a building over here, nobody will be able to work over there unless I create some new houses, so some neighborhoods. But then at the top, the UI is only showing you the total. It's not showing you per neighborhood or per, zones. And don't get me wrong, there is a few menus and things like this, but it feels very hard to get to an easy answer on, am I making enough money? Am I making enough food for my population? I also don't like resources being over here. Very hard to see. I think they should learn from Captain of Industry, where you can choose which resources you want to see. And it's very clean and clear. By the way, this is mission 5, where we have access to a lot more things. You can see, for example, 5 types of food over here. Instead of just one sanitary element, we already have 2. We have a lot of different productions, chains. But by the way, if you really want to see the depth of this game, you can see it on these houses over here, right? Because these are all the type of food you can have. Here you have some luxury buildings, 3 gods, 4 types of entertainment, library, script school, different sanitary, you have the physician, the dentist, etc. So in this way, very similar to something like Pharaoh or Pharaoh in New Era, but this is definitely great to see. So all in all, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you want to see me playing an actual mission from start to finish. But this is my summary. I think the great news is that the game is not dead, the game is moving forward in the right direction. But as it says over here, early pre-beta version, I do think there is still quite a bit of work that needs to be done before the game is ready. In terms of UI, in terms of some of the bugs, the balance, and let's not forget that there's many things we haven't been able to test at all. For example, the technology tree over here, or the military tab, right? We have no idea. It could be that it's almost ready, but it could also be that it hasn't been started at all, right? We don't know. So it's hard to say when the game will come, but I will definitely continue to follow it, to support the developers however I can with testing, etc. And I definitely hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.